Oh man, oh we're back. Thank you to American Brother Travel, and thank you for everybody sticking with me and smashing the like button when you can't hear anything. But guys, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get into it. Let's talk, let's work, let's press rewind because you guys know how I do it. I don't think about this. It comes out the top of my dome, and what I just said probably can't be duplicated. I can't even imitate it. But let's do this. Guys, listen. We had actual boxing that went down this past weekend. Actual, what we would consider traditional boxing. We had Demetrius Andrade taking on Liam Williams. We had Tony Harrison. He was fighting on Fox. It was a traditional layout. Boom, 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 boom. Boxing match in between, boxing match in between, boxing match in between. Here's a interview here or there. But we got something different. Observing Stuff said the fight was awful. The fight before it was the best fight until the blue-haired dude folded and forfeited. So, let me get into it, right? So, we had the Zone and we had Fox doing traditional boxing. Now, I have to say this. When I didn't go live, I didn't cover it. And to be honest, I don't know how I would have covered this live because there was so many performances by artists. I would have had to mute everything and then just do regular talking for about an hour and a half or more. But when it first hit me, when I first started watching it and they got into the show, and I think it was the first female performance, guys, it was like a pow, like punch me right in my mouth. When they started doing their songs, right, these are not the exact words, but it was something along the line like, you want this cat, you want this right here, get this money, like it was talking about the vocal language or the pu and then the butt, and then use it for money, and then but only because I wasn't expecting it, right? If I was expecting it, right, if I go on to Pornhub, I know some of you guys act like you don't, but I know you do watch it. You know what to expect. I was not expecting that. It was unorthodox. It was completely changing the whole thing. At that point, I was thinking, I am glad that I did not have my child, who sometimes watch boxing events with me, because I train him here and there, and he watch boxing events with me. I am glad this is not one of those like, hey son, I'm not going to call this fight tonight. You want to watch this fight with me? Guy, listen, I have a baby mother. His mother, in my opinion, she tries to make my life a miserable hell if she could. Ongoing, her mother is like her, so I have nothing but a bad future ahead of me, because her mother in the 60s is acting younger than the daughter. If I would have had my son and he would have watched that, there is 1,000% sure in me she'd have been on the phone with DFS like, guess what he had him watching, right? But so my initial shock was like, but as an adult, and I realized, okay, I get it. The only thing I would say is, if this is the route they're going to go, fine. But I would just definitely do, children or kids over the age or under the age of 17, probably should not watch this, because it's going to contain language and visual display and dancing. I can't even go with the visual display, because heck, man, we seen what's on these award shows nowadays. It's honestly, it's almost like soft porn. But I'm just speaking as if you have kids, right? If you're an adult, you're a man, cool, you get it. So let's get into it, right? Observing stuff. What's up, champ? So here we go. St. Louis in the building. Let's go. I think my boy American Pastor Travis said he's originally from Colorado, right? I think so. Shout out to Colorado. He says the slap fight was better than the boxing match. Listen, man, I gotta be honest. When I watched that slap boxing, I was like, I thought it was WWE. Except for the last slap, I thought it was WWE. And the thing about it was, I knew the last slap was actually coming, because the way it was set up, right? They would measure their hands up like this, right? But when they slap, it'll be right here. Measure. I'm like, I'm being honest. I wasn't. It seemed staged, and then the very last one it seemed like an actual forehand slap. A forehand slap. But they're doing this right. They're measuring like this. And then they hit him with this at first. And they do it for 2 or 3 rounds. And then the final round, there's a real slap come in. First of all, will I ever do a slap contest? No way. No way I would ever let anybody just slap me in my face. You're out of your mind. That's not bravery to me. That's not bravery. When you are fighting, who can take the best slap? F no. No, I want to hit you and not get hit. I guess that's why I chose boxing. He said that last slap was vicious. It was. He said, Oh, those dudes are trained to be shake it off slaps. Um, they were like I said, man, like for me, not really being a fan or not super familiar with that, it didn't win me over. You know, if they had been slapping like the last slap, every slap, and then somebody end up tapping out or getting knocked out or whatever, then I will believe it. But if every slap up into the last slap was measured like this but hit like this, Ric Flair coming out, woo, right? Sure, Ric Flair is in his 70s. You know, like he strutting in there. Listen, I take my hat off to him. He's still doing it. Still trying to perform. Want to be in the spotlight. He's in his 70s. You know, does not have the same effect he used to have years ago. You know, but listen, man, he's around. It just gave me a whole WWE effect. He said, I don't watch the slap matches usually, but see channels of people talking about them. Like I said, I don't know a lot about the culture. It could be pretty good. I don't know. I'm just saying this one particular match, it didn't win me over. The last slap seemed real, very real. The other one before that was almost like, let me warm you up for the finale, you know. Then we get to, who is it? Cunningham versus, is it Frank Miller or whatever that name is, right? Was that what it was? So I think, matter of fact, let me make sure that's what it is. I think it's Frank, right? It's not. What is his name? It's not. What is his name? I want to comment on Oscar De La Hoya. Let me look at the fight card. Gosh, I can't believe it's getting my name right now. But let's see. Let's see. Undo court. And a couple of things while I look at this that I do think could improve. Guys, I have to say this, and I'm gonna go back, but I have to say this, man, is that I fell asleep before they got to the main event, right? I'm watching it. I'm trying to get through all the concerts, right? Justin Bieber, Best of Believer, you know, Doja Cat, you know, all the West Side. You know, I'm trying to get through it. Right? I'm making it through. Regis Progress, you know, make it through Cunningham fight. Yeah, Steve Cunningham versus I guess it's Frank Mir. Oscar De La Hoya. Frank Mir. Yeah, Oscar De La Hoya. Bro, first of all, he act like in the famous words of Rick James, cocaine's a hell of a drug. You know, I'm not saying he was on it. I'm just saying that his attitude in the way he kept saying USSR, USSR, USSA, he was extremely 1,000% biased for Frank. Everything was about Frank. The only thing he said good about Steve Cunningham was his body. He looks like a goddess. He looked like Adonis. His physique, like the thing that sticks out for him about the only positive thing I can remember him talking about Cunningham was this man's body, and it took me back right when he was talking about Cunningham's body. It made me think about a old stand-up by Marlon Lawrence, right? When it was something along the line, water glistening all over your body. Say what? Water glistening all over your body. So it just made me think the only thing he said about Steve Cunningham was talking about his physique and his body, and you know, like he might needed a moment from the microphone for a moment. I don't know. And then he was, just biased. Talking about how Cunningham got knocked out 9 times. He got a weak chin. And Frank. Jeez, man. He said, whatever they gave to La Hoya, they need to not give him that no more. Man, I think that's why after that fight, he got removed. That was he got removed that fight. he probably was scheduled to do the co-main event. But because he was so off the rockers, they didn't let him do it. In the building, the one, the only, the most beautiful Poetic Chaos in the building. Guys, give some love for Poetic Chaos. If you have not already, slap that like for Poetic Chaos. Let's get it. So, and then we get the Regis Prograis, right? Versus Ivan Redkach. I think because of the camera angles. And possibly how close the camera was to the ropes, I think, to me, that is one of the first few times you have seen the actual speed of a fighter. When I watch Regis Prograis on a normal show, he looks quick. But it's from the cameras is from a distance that you can actually, they're quick, but you can see the snap. There was a lot of times in this fight when Regis Prograis was throwing his shots, they were almost like a blur, like they were really, really fast. And it shows you that from what you see on camera, in real life, it is completely different. And I don't know, like I said, I think it's the camera angles and how close it was. It truly showed the tremendous speed and the reaction time of a fighter. He said, the greatest commentator, thank you. Yes. That's what's coming for a man who wore women lingerie. I'm just saying. He said, yes, don't forget to hit that like, the greatest commentator. Listen, I was live. I didn't do this fight, though, but I did watch this fight. I watched this fight in a replay moments later because I fell asleep, man. It was so long. And don't get me wrong, I see what they're doing. I think it needs to be a little bit mixed. It is very unorthodox. They are going against everything that is considered normal. Normal commentating, nope. This is real, almost like realistic hood commentating, and it's not a bad thing. It's just being real. To me, it adds a comical effect to real fighting, and if it's done right, because I think Snoop Dogg did a great job with Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. I think Snoop Dogg is very good fit. There's a difference between what Snoop Dogg did and the disrespectful and off the rocker thing, in my opinion, that Oscar De La Hoya did. I get it, right? You watching this real good thing, you watching a serious fight, but you got Snoop Dogg on the outside talking, yeah, you better get my money, It was good. I like Snoop. Snoop is really good for that. He's a really good fit for it. But now let's get to the fight. Let's get to the actual fight, right? Ben versus Jake Paul. People kept asking me before this, who I think is going to win. I said, listen, man, I don't know much about Ben. What I do know about Ben is that Ben ain't known for having hands. Ben is known for being like a wrestler type of guy. And Jake actually has some boxing skills. I got to go with Jake on it. That's my initial thought. I got to go with Jake on it. And when I'm seeing Ben in the ring, right? Ben is in the ring with a 1,000% dad bod. I mean, a dad bod that is not training for a fight, who is looking to go to the buffet and get some of that General Tso's chicken or whatever. He has a dad bod with even a couple wrinkles from the fat. Remember, he had to come up in weight. He didn't come up in weight the right way. He just came up in weight by coming up in weight, by coming up in plates. Let's get to the fight. He said Ben didn't look like he trained at all. He was only 36, looking like short, fat old man. Listen, like, he looked bad. Like, honestly, it's a money grab. Ben looked like he took the fight simply for the money. It don't like physique wise. He didn't take it seriously. What he put out there in boxing doesn't look like either two things happened. Either he didn't take it seriously and he just went through the motions, or he did take it seriously and his trainer was a yes man and didn't make the necessary changes to at least do basic boxing. Because Ben didn't even look like a basic boxer. Ben didn't even look like a street fighter pretend to be a boxer. Come on. Come on. He didn't even look like that. Ben looked like somebody that was, like Snoop Dogg said. Somebody, what did he say, a 1936 style or something like, geez, how do you go into training camp and your trainers don't correct that? So either he did it just for the money or his trainers trained him just for the money and then teach him nothing. Just went along with it. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Slide over. Slide back. That don't mean nothing. That means nothing. Rule number 1, teach him how to hold his hands. You don't hold your hands out here. Where they do that at? Where? I didn't even know if they do that in wrestling. They hold your hands out here. You locked up. Well, where did they do it at? Where? Was the knockout real? Absolutely it was. It's a real knockout. It's a real knockout. It was a real knockout. Ben looked like garbage. Jake Paul looked like he actually takes it serious. He might not be an A-level boxer, but it appears to me he take his training A-level. He's not out there just trying to play around. He's not looking like day one boxing. To me, Jake Paul is looking like he is actually trying to be a good student in boxing. And Ben was out there hoping for a prayer. Matter of fact, I don't know what Ben was doing, man. I don't know what Ben was doing. Ben Askren need an aspirin after that ass whooping, after getting knocked down like that. Listen, even when that one yellow-haired dude that was hosting the slap boxing, he went in the back. Remember, he went in the back to talk to Ben, and tell him, I want you to beat him, Ben, and blah, 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 blah. Ben didn't look confident. Ben looked like he was getting ready to go to his funeral. I think Ben honestly probably had a little bit of doubt that he can actually beat Jake Paul. And Jake Paul actually has some powers. Now, if he fought a real boxer, which I don't think is going to happen, or if he fights listen, Jake Paul just can't even fight a real boxer. Jake Paul, in order to fight somebody, he has to fight somebody somebody knows. Which means if he fights a real boxer, it has to be a real boxer that someone knows or is known for being good. He just can't fight nobody that's 3-0 or 4-0 and 5-0 that nobody even knows. Because one, they still have to sell the fight since they want everything he do. They want to put it on pay-per-view. So it has to be somebody with real skills. And at his current level, anybody with real skill that's a real boxer, Jake would get his ass whooped. Does Jake Paul has power? Yes, evident he has power. He's heavy-handed, but he commits in his punches very deeply, which opens him up for counters. Counter left hooks, counter right hands, because he's overcommitting for the knockout punch. It's a lot he got to learn. Ben looked like I could whoop his ass, and I haven't trained in years. Listen, bro, if you fought Ben, it'd be like, think about it, bro. He came out, this was being trained for a fight. Trained. Coming out looking like Mr. Potato Head by the body. Hands doing this. I don't know if he's trying to block punches or he pumping the crowd up. Pump it up. I have no idea what Ben doing out there. I have no idea. Gets knocked down. To be honest, I wanted that referee to let him go a little longer, because he would have got knocked out. Because even though Ben beat the count, his legs was not steady. He would have been Krispy Kreme knocked out. So Ben gets knocked out by Jake Paul. Where does Jake go next? To be honest, man, I don't know why this mic is just like, I'm not going to stand for this. No, I'm not going to stand. I'm not going to stand anymore. All right. Jake Paul I think from now on, if he's cherry picking famous people to fight him, I think he's going to be favored to win. But I'm not so sure his viewer count will go up. I think we've seen 3 outings with him now, right? Is it 3 outings? I think we see 3 outings. Knocked out a YouTuber, knocked out a basketball player, knocked out a former MMA guy. And if he fights Brandon Marshall, it's like boxing has now become what it couldn't become years ago. Boxing is high level celebrity boxing. Like when you look at Triller, what they're doing, first of all, they are pulling in the hip hop crowd. And they are doing a better job of it than 50 Cent could do or any other promoter at that time. They are pulling in the hip hop crowd because even if you don't like boxing by itself, but if they're telling you that it's going to feature your favorite artists, Lil Baby, let me see, Future, right? All these guys that you probably like, all these guys, you might tune in just to be able to see these guys on top of you being able to see the boxing. So they pulling in a hip hop crowd that probably won't like the boxing. Then they pulling in a celebrity crowd that want to watch a celebrity, and they also pulling in the fans of that celebrity that want to see that celebrity that is not famous for boxing do a boxing match. Because deep down, even if people think boxing is big or not big or is popular or not popular, the one thing about people like to see controversy. People like to see drama. People like to see fights. That's the reason why street fights on YouTube is so popular and people recording all these fights and altercations because people like drama. Drama sells. The only reason news and all that it's viewed so much, not because they just updating you on what's going on with news, because news typically gives you 90% of the time drama. They probably could have just as equal good things, but people don't want to hear about it. I don't believe he really trained. I also think the ref stopped it early, but he would have lost anyway. Listen, I wanted to see it continue. Bobby Catalano in the building. How have you been? What's up? Why are you covering this? Because it's boxing, bro. Why would I not cover it? Why would I not cover boxing? I cover boxing. This was boxing, and it's impactful boxing. Triller, to me, this is how I'm going to define Triller. Triller is like the new bad boy on the block. See, right now, let's say this, right? Let's say this is dating. Right? Traditional boxing is dating the traditional way. Hey, how's it going? Let me open your door for you. Let me lay down my coat for you. And everybody's, kind of doing the traditional. Triller is coming in like shit, what it does. What it do. Listen, I ain't with all that. Listen, here's what we gonna do. Alright? You gonna get dressed, pick you up at 7, and we gonna make it do what it do. Right? And even though for a lot of people it might be a turn off to most of the guys, a lot of the women gonna be like, oh my gosh, I never, so Triller is coming in like with that new, extremely edgy, commentating hip-hop boxing feel, and they're mixing in what people would be considered real boxers, Regis Prograis and other fighters, in actual celebrity boxing. Even though Jake Paul is a YouTube celebrity, he's actually converting into he is a professional. I don't know if this fight was professional or not, but that's what he's converting to. He said, no hate on you. I can't have someone saying he the best or have a fake belt when they have never faced a real boxer. Here's my thing about Jake Paul. I don't believe, at least not right now, I don't believe Jake Paul is trying to get into boxing right now to fight the best. I don't. Jake Paul is doing what I said that wanted that. Remember years ago, maybe some of you guys don't, but years ago they came out with something called celebrity boxing, where celebrities fought other celebrities in boxing matches. And it was popular for a little bit, but to be honest, it never really took off. You never would have thought a celebrity boxing match for people that you know would not have had any boxing skills. It would have took off and been a pay-per-view. Now, because of actual boxing, think about this, man. Think about this. Actual boxing of late has adopted a style to entertain you with the best fights, but not give you the best fights. We done seen ever since Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao had a prolonging career a year before they fought each other, actual fighters and promoters have adapted that as an actual lifestyle. To me, what happened between Pacquiao and Mayweather was something that kind of tumbled its way into being that. It tumbled its way into going 5 or 6 years, and I don't think neither one was planning that, but it happened, right? Both sides was talking about drug tests. Somebody didn't want to take a drug test, and then one side wanted to get out, one side didn't want to do it, and then all of a sudden Pacquiao loses. Now the fight goes down the drain, so Pacquiao has to win again. The next thing you know, he loses again, then he has to win, and he has to win again. So a lot of times, to prolong it out of those years, it was between both sides having their due into it not happening, and also Manny Pacquiao having to overcome losses to Tim Bradley, having to overcome losses to Juan Manuel Marquez before it actually came into that perfect snowball storm of what most people try to blame Mayweather for, which honestly, I don't think he should get the majority of blame for this at all. But, I get it. Hate is real. But a lot of these promoters have adapted that as an actual planned career for fighters. Teofimo Lopez beat Lomachenko. He's on top, right? I'm thinking, yes, it's finna be on now. And now I'm seeing Teofimo Lopez doing live Instagram or Twitters talking about, see, the fans want to fight now. Sometimes they gotta wait 4 and 5 years. He's adapting to wait 4, 5, or 6 years. So the people on top are teasing us with the big fight, but we're not getting the big fight. We're not getting Lopez versus Haney or Tank Davis. We're not getting that. We didn't get Joshua versus Wilder. We didn't get that. Ryan Garcia is calling out the big names, but he this is like an actual plan now. So how can you really get mad at Triller for at least catering to the celebrity fans? Because to be honest, they're not as much catering into these last 2 events. Well, at least his last event. The first event, Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. They was catering to the boxing fans that supported Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. And then now this time, when you got Jake Paul headlining, they're catering to that 30, 40, 50 million YouTube subscribers and Instagram subscribers. And they're throwing real boxing matches on those undercards to try to entice real boxing fans to at least want to see this, because this fight does impact actual boxing. Just like they have Teofimo Lopez. He's coming. He's fighting on there, right? Teofimo Lopez is an actual boxer. He chose to fight as mandatory. Could have fought Devin Haney. Could have fought a few more people on top. Chose to fight as mandatory. They bid it. They won that fight. And what are they doing for that? They once again are trying to appeal to older fans by getting Evander Holyfield on that undercard. And they're hoping that Mike Tyson fans are people who want to see the rematch or the trilogy between Mike Tyson and Holyfield would tune in to watch Holyfield take on a man that actually retired Mike Tyson and to try to set up a big fight between Holyfield and Mike Tyson 3. Bobby Gatolano says, I remember celebrity boxing, yeah, when Sticky Fingers got beat up. He said, yeah, Triller is definitely entertaining like they rival against the super professional setting. I like it. You know what, man? I was thinking, man, what kind of budget did Triller have for this? Just their concerts or performances alone from the artists, I thought they went all out. Like, a lot of the artists had their own different setup. Fireworks, lighting, dancers. Listen, they had Doja Cat, Justin Bieber, Saweetie, Ice Cube and all those guys, E40, Snoop Dogg, Too Short, to me, now don't get me wrong, I thought it was dope. I thought it went a little bit too long. Because when they start getting into actual boxing, I'm trying to stay awake. I'm sipping coffee and I'm falling asleep. And I still fell asleep right before the main event. And I woke up hearing Snoop Dogg saying, "Oh, pay me my money." I'm like, what happened? Right? And crazy as it seems, right? I went to YouTube. Now, if this was me, and YouTube has done it for me for less than this, there were several people ability to show the entire fight, putting the main fight on loopity loop. They had gave me a copyright strike one time, and I didn't show the fight at all. They gave me a copy strike one time because somebody complained and said I was showing the fight when there was no timestamp of me ever showing the fight. You know. But, all right, guys, let me go and get it. I appreciate you guys coming. I hope you hit the like button. Let me get back to my normal day of working. Let me give you my overall thoughts on this event. One, I do like what Triller is trying to do. I do like it. Listen, it's a learning curve. So I do like what they're trying to do. Obviously, there's some changes that can be made. They didn't know the changes that could be made until they actually put it out there and watch it back themselves. I do think they should put some warnings with this because this is not the type of event that you can watch with your kids. There is no censoring in language. There is no radio versions of things done. Everything is the full R-rated version done. If a woman is talking about her private area and butt area and what she gonna do with it and how she gonna do with it on you and how she gonna use you and get your money for it, and the guy talking about it, they're not cutting that out. This is probably something you don't want to show to your son, and even if you want to watch boxing, you might want to wait until it is uploaded and go to those particular fights by themselves without watching the entire event. I thank you, Bobby. Thank you, American Press Travel. And I do like the commentating. I think it needs to change a little bit. I like the realistic of it. I like how it feels like your homeboy who's calling the fight. It's very comical. I think Snoop Dogg did a great job. He's a better fit for it. Oscar shouldn't do it anymore. And let's see what happens. Right now, they're making big waves. I heard that this done between 1.3 million and one. Think about this, guys. Listen, before I go, think about this. Triller has done, they saying this did 1.3 to 1.5 million. Tyson and Holyfield did around 1.6 million. Guys, the current best boxers right now, they're not doing that. The only one that could probably come close that's still fighting on pay-per-view is probably Manny Pacquiao. And I don't see anyone him fighting that can do that. Manny Pacquiao will have to fight Earl Spence. Now, if Pacquiao did something crazy and fought Canelo, then I think that's probably do about 2 million. But if Pacquiao fights Earl Spence Jr., honestly, I'm thinking about maybe 800,000, maybe between 600,000 and 800,000. Pacquiao versus Terrence Crawford, that's probably about 300,000 to 400,000. Errol Spence Jr. versus Ugas, if they put it on pay-per-view, probably about 300,000 or 400,000. These YouTubers, see, that's what I'm saying. That even if you don't care much about this, and you really want to stick to traditional boxing has changed, and it's not traditional boxing anymore. Traditional boxing used to be the best fight the best. It's not about that no more. Traditional boxing appears to be having some talented fighters rise to the top, make them popular. And if there's another fighter that can rival them, talk about fighting that fighter, but never actually fight that fighter. Always make it seem like the other fighter is ducking. Have them thinking your next fight can always be that fight, but no, it's going to be somebody else who nobody is even asking for. Even if it's a good fight, it's not the fight we want to see. So boxing is, they're not doing it. They're not delivering. They have a lot of fighters that are popular, but they're just not giving us those fights. And Triller, honestly, yes, they might get a couple of those fights, but in reality, Triller thing is, I think they are trying to trend what is popular. If you're popular right now and you're trendy right now, why not make a fight with you right now? Because it's going to make money, and everybody is in it for a financial gain. So in that aspect, Triller is actually doing a wonderful job. Even if you think about it, even if you don't like boxing and you don't want to support Triller, they're still going to do their numbers. They're still going to do their numbers because they are going with what is trending. And if they got celebrities that have 40 and 50 million followers, and they're only trying to get a million or so out of those 40 million to buy it, that is a win for them. And now they're bringing in. So now not only do the fighters have to be the only reason why the event sells, they have artists who have millions of followers themselves. So imagine this, right? You got Doja Cat. I don't know how many followers she got. I imagine it's millions. She telling her followers, guys, buy the pay-per-view. I'm going to perform. Support me. She just trying to reach a portion of her followers. The whole West Coast with Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, Too Short, E40. All of them reaching out to their supporters saying, buy it, support it. I'm going to be there, I'm going to perform. Justin Bieber, you know how big he is. He reaching out to his performance. So now you have artists who's trying to help sell this, and boxers and celebrities. To be honest, man, it's going to be really hard to see how they fail, and it's very easy to see why they succeeded. Wow. Well, guys, I don't know. I didn't think about it. I just speak my mind. Let me know your thoughts on it. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. You know how we do it. Sharing is caring. Congrats to Snoop. Congrats to Jake. Regress. Oscar, somebody get this man some help. Snoop Dogg. And I'm out. Let's get it.